Welcome to the South and Lexington, Kentucky. In the next hour, we're going to have a ball. I'm going to tell you my 5 most influential freshmen. I'm going to tell you my All-American team. Also going to touch the 13-year run of Coach Hall at Kentucky. Bloopers that I did last year should bring a laugh. My coaching buddies and I will also tell you who's going to win Monday night in prime time at Rupp Arena.
Al McGuire's Championship Special is brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855. By Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears. By the people at Merrill Lynch, whose resources and solutions make them a breed apart. And by your Toyota dealer and the spacious 1985 cargo van. Pack it in.
The greatest week in basketball, and what happens? We get a black eye, alleged scandal down in Tulane. In my lifetime, and I'm in my middle 50s, this is the 4th scandal. That's 4 too many. It's about time that the NCAA, the universities, the National Association of Basketball Coaches got together and made the student athletes aware of what's happening, of these creeps that are outside attaching to them like parasites. We're ruining young people's lives. It's time they got together. Now back to the business of the game tomorrow night. Georgetown blew out St. John's. Just a little bit too much talent. Patrick Ewing playing a one-man zone. If they don't get you that way, they get you into full court pressure up court. Georgetown's bench is very long, multiple players. John Thompson is a good coach, and he'll be a good coach after Patrick Ewing leaves. The other game, Villanova, they show you many, many defenses inside a tight zone. They use a tempo. They love the clock. The clock is their friend. They want to kick the ball into Pinckney. Pinckney's very quick. Maybe the quickest man in college basketball today, over 6'8". They are the Cinderella team, and they are on the yellow brick road.
If they're Cinderella, Cinderella wears boots, Al. Because that, no, you couldn't. They've been in the NCAA. We played them in Final 16 3 years ago. And a team, I don't classify a Cinderella team as one that's been there perennially, you know, and they've been there. Dana,
what does Villanova have to do tomorrow night to win?
Well, they have to keep the same patience, Al. I classify their game, their scheme in the game as that of a buzzard, like it just circles and circles on the prey and is going to get it. And I really believe this. I believe that they've got to keep the same patience and take the good shots, because that's what they're in the habit of doing. And they've won 5 games in the NCAA right now, and all 5 of them have been low-scoring games, and they've got to do the same thing on Monday night.
Who has to have a good game for the Cats to win?
Well, you've got to have a good game from Pinckney. He's awfully tough, and Presley's awfully tough. And McLean brothers, they're a seasoned ball club. They're a ball club that, you know, they had those seniors when we played them 3 years ago, and they're an older ball club. Whereas, like, we start only 1 senior, and they start an elderly group. And if they get the shooting well and get a good rhythm, and they get high, you know, on what they're doing in the defensive scheme of things, because I look at the scores. They only lost to, say, well, Villanova in a close ball. I mean, St. John's in a close ball game, and they lost to Georgetown by 2, so they can beat anybody.
Louis, when or what point did you think you lost the ball game?
Al, I'm not trying to be funny, but at the beginning of the ball game, when the tip off,
you lost the tip?
Well, honestly, now you talk about it, you know, the first few minutes of that second half, they got it going, and we bring it down to 4 points. You think you're back in there. But they have so many weapons. They can get you from so many different angles that after playing them 4 times and getting 3 times coming at the wrong end, my admiration for them, really. I compare them with the great Kentucky, with the Rupp and Jovi Hall, with the great Bill Russell and Casey Jones and Brown, with the great UCLA. They belong there, 3 out of 4.
Will Patrick Ewing go down as one of the greatest college ball players?
Oh, you have to say. He's right there with Russell, with Chamberlain, and with Jabbar. He's right there.
What does Villanova have to do tomorrow night to win?
Well, I think that's a tough question to answer. I think, number one, if they have one edge, is that Roy likes to play without the clock. That in itself could be a plus. But playing Georgetown, it's very difficult because they're going to pick you up all over. And they can control the tempo. And the amazing thing about John's club is that they can play fast and they can play slow.
And then the long bench.
Well, The bench is really very, very strong. It doesn't, as a matter of fact, I've seen him win games without playing Ewing. He'll stay up 18, 20 minutes, and they still win. I mean, it's unbelievable, the club they have.
What would be the key thing? What break would Villanova have to get to win the ballgame?
I don't think you can put it in the capsule form. I think it's going to have to be two things. Number one, Villanova's going to have to play very, very well, play a super game, and you have to hope that Georgetown, maybe perhaps the moon is just not right.
The moon?
They have up guys, you know.
The moon in the sky?
That's right, you know. They're going to miss their shots, affect the wavelengths and everything else. With that, maybe they might have a shot at it.
Coming up next, a zebra, a guy that worked 2 Olympics and 4 NCAA finals. Also, my 5 influential freshmen. I'll tell you what that means right after this. Lexington, the jewel of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, has done a magnificent job in sprucing up their city, getting ready for the thousands and thousands of basketball fans visiting from throughout the country. University of Kentucky, a lot of people say, has the #1 basketball program in the country. They're also the largest industry here, along with thoroughbreds. To show you just how small this town really is, the drive across it takes you 20 minutes. If you want to jog it, you can do it in 10. You want to take a cab? Forget it. You're better off walking. Because in this city, there are only 30 licensed cabs. That's it. But what a job was done. Top shelf. Park Avenue all the way. If I was the NCAA, I'd go to more towns with Rupp-like arenas, more college towns. And you bet your bottom dollar I'd be back here within 10 years. One of the reasons that hoops are so big in the Bluegrass State is because of the legendary Coach Rupp. He ruled the roost for over 30 years, especially in the southeast part of the country, and many years was national champ. He used to hang out in this place here. It's called Brookings. It's about a block and a half off the Kentucky campus. And what he liked was the chili and the beer. There was 2 things that Coach Rupp and I have in common. Chili, which I like, but I especially like it if the waitress's ankles are dirty. Then the chili's good. And the other thing was zebras. And I happened to run into the head of the zebras, the leader of the pack, a guy named Hank Nichols. He works at Villanova, and I wanted to find out what makes... When I use the term influential freshman, what I mean, they mightn't be the best 5 ball players in the country in the freshman class, but they are guys that have turned the program around. They're mini franchises.
John Williams, LSU. Man-child, outstanding rebounder, can put the ball on the floor. Best prospect out of California since Bill Walton. Can take a rebound off the defensive board and drive the length of the court like a 5'8" guard. He's unbelievable. Vincent Askew, Memphis State. Small forward or point guard. Extremely good ball handler and passer. Can nail it from the perimeter. Complements the Twin Towers. Cedric Henderson, Georgia. Extremely mobile, possesses agility and speed. Quick with his feet, his hands, and his shoulders. He's a great scorer and just a truly great player. David Rivers, Notre Dame. He's a pick-me-up guy. He put life back into the Notre Dame program. He wants the ball at the end of the game. Sometimes he has a little bit too much French pastry, but that will disappear at maturity. He is truly the second coming of Isaiah Thomas. Danny Manning, Kansas. Carbon copy of magic. greatest ball player enrolled at Kansas since Wilt Chamberlain. He's a finesse player. He hits the defensive board, can start a fast break with an outlet pass, or fill the lane and end the break with a flying dunk. This 6'11" plays upstairs, and he's a keeper.
What's the difference in high school ball in North Carolina and in Kansas?
Well, in North Carolina, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent here in Kansas, but it's much deeper in North Carolina. You can find a team with 7 or 8 guys deep, you know, that really had a lot of talent. Here in Kansas, there are a lot of players with a lot of talent, but there are not quite as many on a team.
When you came here as a senior to Lawrence High School, was it difficult to adjust to the players?
Well, for a while it was difficult to adjust because I think this is the first time they've ever played with somebody who likes to pass the ball like I do. And I like to give up a lot of easy shots I have for a shot that they have, which is closer to the basket, and they had to adjust to that.
Where'd you get this philosophy from, your dad?
Well, no, just playing out in the streets. When I was younger, I always played with older kids. And when I would play with them, I'd be the smallest one in the group, so I always had to pass the ball to them.
They say that you have to get more weight. You got to get more strength. Is that true?
Oh, definitely. I'm playing right now at about 210, 215. And I'd just like to gain about 10 or 15 more pounds and get a lot stronger.
Are you working on the weights?
Yes, we're working on the weights 2 days a week.
Danny, you're an influential freshman. You're an influential basketball player. Coming to Kansas with all this ink and this publicity, has it wore you out in any way?
Well, I don't think so, because I think I've had some pressure on me with my teammates, and Coach Brown have helped relieve that pressure by helping me on the court a lot and talking to me.
Coach, what makes Danny such an influential freshman?
Well, he's 6'11", and he can do a lot of things. I've never seen a kid that size who can handle it and pass it, and he's a great defender. And I think all those things, the fact that he's so unselfish makes him special.
You seem to be foul prone. You fouled out of 5 games already. That's a lot.
That is a lot. I've committed a lot of silly fouls, like reaching in and not moving my feet on defense, and just things I really need to work on that are mental mistakes.
Are you aware when you have 4 fouls, you change your game?
Well, I try not to change my game, because if I go out and try to play lackadaisical or anything like that, I'm not helping the team out, my team out. So I just try to go out and play very aggressive.
Coming up next are some outtakes from my halftimes of moments I'd rather forget. You know, each year I go throughout the country doing my halftimes, and you see the good ones. But there are some moments I'd rather forget, and also some moments my friends rather forget.
Can you see those rocks through the water right there?
Yeah.
You can't get out there without falling on your ass.
Try.
Oh, what?
Don't even try.
You're right. You're right.
That's all further. That's won't let you go.
You're right.
Really, you can't believe how hard this is.
Oh, it's nice to be up in the rock.
I'm going to say, you know who's there today? The other legend in basketball, Al McGuire. Yeah.
Don't forget the 4 horses.
You like these hot tubs, huh?
This is
Oklahoma State University Cowboys.
Oklahoma State. Oklahoma, boy, it's heavy, Oklahoma.
Takes a little bit of getting used to. How about a cowboy walk for us? Cowboy walk?
Whoop. 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 Old men shouldn't play young people's games.
One moment that was a real pleasure for me and Kentucky coach Joby Hall was when we cut a record some years back. This one, the fans wanted to forget. My mother bought the only 5 copies that we sold.
We were both too tired to sleep. So we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us and he began to speak. He said,
"Son, I made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. And for a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." You know, Coach, we both put 13 years. I did it at Marquette, and you did it at Kentucky. How come now?
You know, I didn't realize that, but that's really strange because when you resigned after you'd won the championship, that impressed me. Your reasons, your logic, and why you did that was, I wouldn't say the key to my resignation, but it was something I certainly thought about.
Let's sit up here, Coach.
Okay.
Coach Joe, how are you going to be feeling next October 15th?
That's a tough one, Al. I know that when I finally clean out my desk, and then when basketball starts next fall, no question about it, that's going to hit me.
What was the key reason for leaving Kentucky?
I kind of remember what you used to say, Al, about leaving home and coming to the forks in the road, and one went out into the woods and excitement and fun and relaxation, and the other went to the desk. And I don't know that I had the same feelings about the decision every day, but I did make that decision a long time ago.
In your 13 years here, what moments do you remember?
So many of them, it's hard to single out just a few, but your national championship naturally is a focal point in your memories. But I remember a game we played against the Russians, and the coach after the game said, "Best team I ever looked," the Kentucky team, and I like that statement. And I guess the win over Indiana when they were undefeated in Dayton was a big game for Kentucky, and certainly one for me. The 75 team and its trip to the NCAA finals.
Joe, how are you going to stay out of the shadow of the next coach?
Well, that's going to be easy. I'm definitely not going to be around, and I do not want to cause any problems as far as a new coach coming in as my being influence on fans or boosters or the players or anything of that sort. But I'll be interested in the Kentucky program, and I'll want to watch the program continue, and there's no way that I could completely divorce myself from Kentucky basketball, at least as a fan. Going to the games, I may slip in the back of a section and sit down and leave before the game's over, but I definitely will have an interest.
If you had one bit of advice to give to the next coach, what would it be?
Just be himself, and the temptation to copy someone or be like someone and try to develop that style is certainly the wrong way to go. And someone just has to come in, do it his own way, not be afraid of pressure, and make his decisions based on his philosophy and his principles.
You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to walk away and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. Out of sight, Joe. Let's have a, give me a high five.
Each year, my friendly adversary, Billy Packer, and I lock horns on some issues. So for you loose lips, here's my all-foreign team and the guy I picked to be their coach. Jose Vargas, LSU, Dominican Republic, strong and swift enough to keep up with the fast break. Outstanding set of hands. Bill Weddington, St. John's, Montreal, the Wayne Gretzky of hoops, led Canada to the 4th place finish in the Olympics. Uwe Blab, Indiana, West Germany, Oktoberfest, Sauerkraut Thunder, excellent hook shot, will go in the first round in the NBA. Yvonne Joseph, Georgia Tech, the Haitian sensation, an extremely physical player, raw talent. Danny Mahar, Duke, Ontario, baseline player with a lunch pail, blue-collar style that will beat you with his heart. Detlef Schrempf, University of Washington, West Germany, team player, can shoot, pass, and bring the ball up court. Now, guys, my pick to coach a foreign squad, no other than Coach Curly Packer.
Up next, my 5 best round ballers, Super All-Americans.
Tonight on an all-new Punky Brewster. Will Punky's power give this little crook a big surprise?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in a 1-hour special tonight.
The true heavyweights.
Mark Price, Georgia Tech, has made round ball popular in Atlanta, has taken basketball from the trunk of a car and put it in the front seat along with football. Unbelievable foul shooter, consistent, unlimited scoring range, effortless jumper, uncanny court sense, a winner. Keith Lee, Memphis State, easily became the first player in Memphis State history to score more than 2,000 points. Mr. Cool, he's a combination of Sam Perkins and Magic Johnson, wrapped up in a sleek 6'10" frame. Handles the ball better than most guards. Led the Tigers in scoring and rebounding every season. Raymond Tisdale, Oklahoma. First player in the history of college ball to make All-American in his first 3 years at college by AP and UP. All-time leading scorer in his first 2 years at Oklahoma. Has the quickest jump shot in the business. If he catches the ball, he's going to score. The Sooner Boomer. Patrick Ewing, Georgetown. Someday he will be rated equal or better than Kareem, Wilt, Bill, Moses. Believe me, he's that good. Has outstanding timing combined with lateral movement that's unstoppable. The key to this super is his determination and concentration to win as a team player or die. Chris Mullen, St. John's. Possibly the second coming of Larry Bird. Sees the game in slow motion. He plays in continual motion. Radar touch and way down deep. Little Louie says, I just want to enjoy him. When I die, then I'll talk about it.
Louie, how good is Chris?
To put it very simply, he's marvelous.
Is he with almost the best you ever had, or one of the best?
Well, on the collegiate scene, there's no doubt about it.
He deserves to be All-American?
Oh, every inch of it.
Will he be a success in pro ball?
No doubt about it. I hear all these, you know, I hear all the various things. He can't run, he can't jump.
Lacks quickness?
He can play, all right? He's a player. He has what it takes to win. And not only is he good for himself, he makes other players better. That's why he's so great. The good ones do things for themselves. The great ones do things for others.
People seem to think, Chris, that you're a smaller Larry Bird. Is that a compliment? Or would you rather be a tall Chris Mullen?
I would probably rather be a tall Chris Mullen because I think it's hard to put anyone in Larry Bird's category.
How do you make up for your so-called lack of quickness? And I relate that lack of quickness the same way I relate to Larry Bird.
I would say it's kind of, I guess, court awareness and just being in the right place at the right time. And I think the biggest thing, if you have a deficiency, I think the biggest thing is trying to stay away from it. Know your capabilities and your limits. I think everyone's kind of got things in their game that are not, you know, the best part of the game. I think if you kind of stay away from that, you know, if you don't put yourself in a situation where, you know, you can be exposed to being slow or not being able to jump, I think then, you know, that's a way of getting over that hump.
When the game is tied, one shot, do you want the ball?
Oh, yeah, every time.
Equal of Patrick's one-man zone is their full court pressure. Will you try to go all the way or just over the 10-second line and reset?
No, we are going to try to bring the ball up. We have had very little problems against their pressure this year. We attack pretty well. We don't turn the ball over too much against full court pressure. The problem arises is once you get over the half-court line and setting up and getting yourself into the framework of really understanding what they're doing. And, you know, they play a 2-3 zone. They play the 1-3-1 with Patrick in the middle, and they play a great man-to-man defense.
Will you try to kick the ball into Pinckney?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, we have to play the way we have, you know, to get here. And I think we have to take the ball inside Eddie. I mean, Eddie's a great passer, and so is Presley. And I think that if the tempo's right and we execute the offense, I think the defense will fall into place.
And
you'll still pick. Don't worry about it. You'll still pick Georgetown, as everybody else.
Coming up next is my Coach of the Year and who's going to win tomorrow night. And now my Coach of the Year. But first, congratulations, Coach Bill at Michigan. He won the Big Ten. Good job. The other guy, I think, did a great job, the guy out at UCLA, Walt Hazzard. His team was in a baton death march in December. He turned around and won the gold at the NIT last week. But the fella that I picked as the best coach in the country is Bobby Crimmins from Georgia Tech. Outstanding job. He took a club 3 years ago. It's at the bottom of the ACC, and they end up now a mini dynasty that will eventually be a dynasty. Congratulations, Bobby. Now on to the business of tomorrow night. First of all, Georgetown, most people feel are going to win it. But Villanova, hey, they're a tough ball club. Don't forget, there's no clock in this ball game at all. And Rowdy Massimino knows how to play without a clock. They show multiple defenses inside their tight zone. And don't forget Pinckney. He's very, very quick down low in the blocks. And they are not afraid of Patrick Ewing and company because they have played him twice already this year. And also, they took him into overtime in January. But let's look at Georgetown. Georgetown might be one of the best basketball clubs of all time. They come in a tough, mentally tough, physically tough. They got the aircraft carrier down there in the paint, and the only way you beat that guy is you almost got to kill him because he's going to make a constant effort to beat you from the opening tap to the end of the ball game. Martin and Williams and company, they can beat you from the outside, from the inside. So I go, without a doubt, with Georgetown. It's been a great year this year for basketball on NBC, and join me next year for a better one.
Al McGuire's Championship Special has been brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By Ford Motor Company. You're going to love the quality. At Ford, quality is job one. By Ramada. At Ramada, you'll find people who know how to take care of business. And by the Champion Spark Plug Company, the only spark plugs with a performance guarantee.
I understand you're being superstitious. I was superstitious too. But a couple of questions I got to ask you. I won't be too long. If Villanova holds you to under 50 points, can you win the game? Whose favor without having a clock? Well, I tell you what, I believe that Ed Pinckney is the quickest center in the country. What are you going to do to stop him? He could get in foul trouble. Well, the key to the game is tempo. Okay, what time's the pregame meal tomorrow? Wish you luck. Thanks a lot.